which is going to be one app around SA, which I'm hoping to do in 113 days, yes, between December and Jan, and then finish by March. Get 500 students from 100 schools into school for next year. I mean, those who are in matric right now, because at the same time we want to focus on student development. A lot of people have degrees, but there's nothing they're doing with their degrees. They don't have experiences and so forth. So how about we try to collaborate with different companies, whatever field that you are in.
Welcome to our show!
Thanks for having us.
How are you doing, Nkosinathi?
I'm 100%. I feel like walking back to Guyana.
Oh, it must be insane.
Hi everyone, my name is Tanya Boyston and welcome to the Come Up series. I'm here with my lovely co-host Rwanda Jacobs, and our guest today is Nkosinathi, and we will be talking about the Journey Legacy Walkathon and how the Journey Legacy Walkathon assists with empowering the structure of education. I'm just going to give you a good brief about the Walkathon. The Walkathon is an initiative that spreads awareness of the potential to reshape the way schools and universities operate and empower students, teachers, and lecturers.
Nice. Welcome, Nkosinathi.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to finally be a guest.
Thanks for this. So, Nkosinathi, please tell us a bit about yourself and what inspired you to start the Journey Legacy Walkathon.
All right, Nkosinathi Manganyi. As for the inspiration, we would have to write a book about that. Wait, I think we did a bit. It's just that it's not yet out. But the whole inspiration around that, I feel like in life, you need to actually experience something in order for you to make sure someone else doesn't experience it. So we could easily say this is a collection of events that has come about with different points in my life. And for some reason, it ended up being me having to walk. And the first walk being obviously from Johannesburg to Bloemfontein back in 2014. I had a friend, his name was Sheldon Hensley. He had cancer by his knee. So he was about to lose his leg, amputation, possibility of that, but thank God that never happened. And then within that whole process, seeing him go through chemo and the whole process, it made me be more grateful to life, to the fact that, there's something that we take as easily or as obvious as walking. And it could easily be taken away from you. You can get hit by a car. Anything can happen. You can get sick. You can't even walk anymore, but you don't see and appreciate none of those until it happens to you. So for me, seeing him be stuck and actually being in the mindset of saying there's a possibility that he's going to have to use crutches for the rest of his life, that triggered something in me. But with that said as well, there were other events that were happening. And then it all collectively ended up me saying, I'm going to walk from Johannesburg to Bloemfontein. That's how the whole inspiration came about. But where walking is concerned, in school, I did cross country, your athletics. Growing up, my grandma used to make me walk almost every weekend. And then we'd work to go do certain charity stuff, probably like 5 to 8 kilometers, and then 16 back and forth. So in a way, there were small dots that were happening as I grew up. Going to church, I used to walk to church. It was quite a distance, and every Sunday I had to be there. So walking has been a part of me, even though we all can walk. But I mean, in a sense of, wow, it would be better if I was actually in a car, like maybe my friend, so to speak. So it's a collection of different events. But the trigger that said I need to do something, actually make this make sense, was when my friend almost lost his leg.
Oh, wow.
Wow, nice. Thanks.
And that's actually a very powerful way to start your journey with the walkathon. Something that's motivative and it pushes you. So what is the difference, because you have been saying that you walk to weekends, what's the difference between a charity walk and a walkathon itself? And what is the process of getting assistance for the walkathon?
I love that question. And here's the reason why. When you show up to any company, and you say you want to walk cross province, the first thing that they want to make sure is that, will you make it? Are you sure you're going to do it? And before we even get to, are you sure you're going to do it? Most think I'm trying to scam them, so to speak. I'm talking about the first one. So people usually don't easily believe that it's something possible. So it becomes difficult for even companies to assist as much as they might want to assist. But it becomes a bit of a difficulty because it's never been done. It's not something that's it's not like you can say we're going on a marathon, one day we're going to do 90 Ks and so forth. But I'm talking about walking multiple days on the highway. Sometimes you walk 200 kilometers and there's no civilization. So there's a lot of risks that are involved. So the first time that I actually went and pitched that, it didn't make sense to most companies. So because I'm a bit stubborn, I used that as a stepping stone as well. So around that time when that happened, I would say life was going great. And then with that said, it opened up a channel for me to say I will use my own companies to actually push this initiative. So as much as I would say I would use my body and my companies at that time, where the clothing brand was called God's Republic, where a studio in Branson called Aquanaut Productions. We had a couple of artists who were trying to push. We had a creative agency. So a lot of things were coming together. So it was more of a, how can I actually say thank you, but not to someone else, because it's through the power of God that I'm able to experience all these things, especially at the age that I was at. So for me, it was more of a, how can I say thank you, God, for what you've done? And this actually happened about almost 2 months before my birthday. So my PA at that time, Nono, she was like, dude, what can I get you for your birthday? And I literally couldn't answer her. But the reason was because I had so much gratitude. And then that became a channel for me to actually say, you know what, as part of me trying to do 1, 2, 3, I'm going to use this platform, Walking, to try and do this. That's how we collaborated within ourselves with the company. But obviously, you have to find an initiative that you need to work for. And at that point, it was Door of Hope Children's Mission, where they take care of abandoned babies. And I mean, the person who introduced me to that organization, it's basically they have homes where if you get pregnant and you don't want your child, instead of killing, instead of throwing in a dumpster, or you know how crazy it gets, they put an option for you to actually go and give your child, so that the child can have a better opportunity at life and eventually get adopted and so forth, other than just throwing away kids. So the first one, as much as there was the stories I was mentioning now about amputation possibilities and all that, the whole point at that end, result of me doing a bit of research, trying to, who can help me, where can I go? We ended up finding that organization called Door for Children's Mission. We pitched to them, this is what we want to do. Even then, they were like, you sure you're going to do this? But we were so inspired, motivated. And at that time, my girlfriend was like, you know what? I'm going to do this with you. And I'm like, can you comprehend what I'm trying to do? So, but then she actually jumped on with me, started with me from Johannesburg all the way to Bloemfontein. We made it together. So when you start, I think starting is the most important factor. If you want assistance, you can't just say you want to do something and then you fold your arms or you just go begging. You have to do your part. So that part, sometimes it's crazy, and you might find yourself all the way in the middle of nowhere and there's no one to help you. But if you do your part, you know what the mission and the vision is. So it's more of, as much as you need assistance and help, you need to have something that's a core that keeps you from straying away from what it is that you're trying to achieve. So for me, the connection was more of the whole story about the Hope Children's Mission was actually moving, and the stories that happen in our communities is very sad. So it opened, it boosted me, if I can actually use that as the right phrase. It boosted me to even want to do it more, and it made more sense for me to even say thank you, God, by actually trying to assist the kids. So that's how the first one started, and then that's how we jumped on. And funny enough, the assistance that we got was more on your international level than SA. In SA, people were already saying, nah, it's not happening, you're not walking, you lie. But anyway, that is that in terms of the inspiration, assistance, and how we started.
Sure.
And I just want to ask, do you have any security or someone that's with you on the journey? Like, or do you just start walking? Because imagine in the evening, like, do you even, I know you probably have like a headlight and you're walking, but like animals in your way, you walk on the road.
Okay. I'm going to answer that in 3 parts. The first journey that we took, we had no security, we had no backup whatsoever. Even where food is concerned, we basically just took the leap of faith. We're using the N1 from Johannesburg via Val, all the way Kronstadt up until Bloom. So it's more of a desert there. I can't even call it farms because it's more of a desert. So we're not as prepared where food is concerned. So meaning we had to stomach, if we're going to have to walk 200 Ks before we find the next stop, that's what we have to do. Number two, since there was no security, at some point, and we were walking day and night here, when we say we were resting, It was more of your under a bridge 15 minutes, you know. And then when we get a garage, just put our bags down, put our heads back. I remember I did about 150 because I actually ran out of shoes. My shoes were finished. And then I walked with socks. It's in some of my clips. But for me, it was more of a challenge. You know, to be honest, you might think I'm crazy when I'm on the road because I challenge myself with small things. So that is on the first one. I'll come back to the animals and so forth. On the second one, we attempted to be more prepared because number one, we had the experience. We knew what was on the road. We know what to expect. Unlike the first one, remember, even if you wanted someone to mentor you, how do they mentor you when they don't even know if it's possible to walk like 493 kilometers? Do you get me? So it was a bit of a, if you want to learn, you just have to go through it and then you learn from that. That's how the journey for me evolved. So second one, we try to get, well, there were people who were like, next time you do this, I want to join you. So that invitation was open. I think we were about 8, if I remember correctly. There was a vehicle that came as an escort. We tried to get a crew, a film crew as well. And then I think I had 4 more people who were joining me in terms of saying they're going to work with me. But I can say before the sign, the off ramp after Bloemfontein, because the second one was from Bloemfontein to PE, we didn't finish the whole track together. They had to step back a bit and then like, hey, let's reorganize. We're gonna try and see when we can finish it. But as for now, that's not gonna happen because again, like I said, even with myself, the first one it was more of a pilot one. And then from the pilot one, then I learned from there. Then the third one now was Guyana to Cape Town, which was that one I did in 40 days. So there, everything was top notch. Security, escort, municipalities were with us. It made sense, you know. We had support from SABC. Hectic 99 started with us. And then that's where we actually ended up at. I actually worked from Limpopo to Hectic 99 Studios as well. So that one, we had support from SAPS, we had support from Traffic Department, Disaster, EMS. So everyone was on call and everyone's jurisdiction, since you know it's municipalities, different jurisdictions from SAPS, and so they passed us on as we moved on and moved on. And it had more of a, from your branding perspective, communication wise, it was on point. So then we had multiple support from security wise in terms of sorting ourselves out, food wise, shoes wise. I changed over 15 pairs, and then coming to the answer of animals and stuff. When I walked at night, because sometimes I walk like 72 hours non-stop, I did bump into snakes. Your funny stuff that you find on the road, animal-wise. But I remember there was one specific snake that was so huge, probably like, that was a huge one, half a street, I could say. And I tried to run to it. The funny thing is that once you are on the road, it's like you reconnect with nature. For me, anyway, I reconnected. So places where there were cows actually followed me instead of them running away from me. Where I saw snakes, there was a specific snake that was stuck. It was hot. Instead of running away from the snake or trying to kill the snake, I actually helped it out and brought it where there was grass because it was stuck in the pavement.
Right.
So there were funny things that were happening. When I'm supposed to be scared of these things, I found myself being one with them, if that makes sense. I didn't even listen to music for 40 days. Like that's almost 2,000 kilometers, and I didn't listen to music. It was just me, myself, and everything that was around me. So yeah, you're taking me back, eh?
It almost sounds like it was like therapy. It's like was so therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, something like
It is, eh? It is therapeutic because even when you decide to go on a vacation, let me put it this: when you decide to go on a vacation, you have a time frame. You know, on this specific day, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. These are the activities we're gonna do. This one I'm gonna go for supper, breakfast. I'm gonna wake up this time. So when you're there for 40 days, I don't know why I was putting exclamation marks as if it wasn't 40 days. But for 40 days, even if I had planned for those 40 days, after 5 days, I was just leaving. I wasn't planning anymore. I was just connecting. I wasn't disconnect. I knew I had the road. It was me and the road, but at the same time, as a walker, this is how I usually do it in my head. Okay, I start with 1 step, there's gonna be 2. I start with before 1 kilometers, I focus on 200 meters. And then by 8 hours, now I know I'm gonna do 42 kilometers, but I don't focus on the 42. I now come back to the now. So that whole experience brought me to the now, the right now, where I'm not thinking or worried about whatnot. I was just here, this step right now, as much as I was going far. And the funny thing about this is that most people say you're not walking, it's not gonna happen, you're not gonna make it. But for some reason, the way I was so connected, I was just waiting for time to connect with me because it was more of I've already arrived. It's just a matter of my flesh showing up in that specific recommended time. So I can say it was more than therapeutic. I wasn't working to find myself, but I ended up finding more of who's inside me in that manner. And funny enough, when I got to Cape Town, we would actually, I wouldn't mind coming back, like walking back, but that wasn't part of the plan. So yeah,
Sure.
I talk too
Wow.
much, guys.
It's making me think now, like how do your legs feel after that whole journey?
Mm. Yo, pilot mode. I was on autopilot.
Okay.
You see, the first 3 days, I'll use the 40-day walk. The first 3 days, I think I was doing 50 a day because I made it through Bulukwani in 3 days. So I can easily say the first 10 kilometers, your body is getting used to it. It's like, yeah, okay, this is what's happening. And then I did 40 more, and then it was 50 for that day. My body was refusing. I'm talking about day one. And I had an interview. I remember when I walked into the studio, they're like, yo, are you gonna make it? It's not the first day, but it's more of like I now had to put more muscle memory on my body. So when I got home, I got in hot water, sea salt. Then after that, I was good. The following day, I had to go and reprogram it again. Now, after 3 days, my body is now wondering what's happening now. You're not resting as we know you rest. You're not eating as you eat. You're constantly on the go. So what is that about? So
Mm.
that, in a way, kind of pushed my body to restructure itself. I think on the fourth and fifth day, my face was scary because now everything that wasn't good in my body was now getting rejected because now I was on a new schedule. So meaning I'm always moving and all that. So
Mm.
automatically my body kind of now prepared itself by getting rid of everything that would make me sick. I think for 2 days I was sick, but even though I was sick, I didn't stop. I kept going. Then after that, it was autopilot. Anyone who came and tried to walk with me, it wouldn't be an easy situation because my legs, once I started 6 or 8, 5, I'm on the same pace. I don't change. I don't decrease. I don't increase. So when people try to come and walk me with me as well, it becomes more of a challenge because I must also interact with them for the fact that they're supporting that they're there. But then all again, they understood that my journey is still very long. So they allowed that to happen. I remember from Bilabila to Pretoria, I did that in a day. That's about 90 K. And I had people who came through to come and support me. But the way I was fast pacing, I was like 5 to 10 to 15 kilometers ahead of them. And as much as I wanted to stop, my legs wouldn't allow me. I was on autopilot. But do I get hurt? Yes, I do. I saw, yes, I do. But now, saw is not a reason to stop anymore. I even lose toenails, but then now it's more. I'm not walking with my body. My mind is walking. So now everything about my body needs to obey my leg. My legs need to obey my mind and my vision and where I'm going. So I would limp. I would be in pain, but I would still push. So that's how I got transitioned a bit, and certain things you start relating them to life. And then at the same time, it was more like I must keep reminding myself, why was I walking?
Mm.
Why was I walking? So
Okay.
Yes,
yes.
that's
You
actually
get a
a
follow-up
nice.
question. Yeah, let's go on, Tanya.
Okay. And I just wanted to say that's actually a nice explanation of the Journey Legacy Walk.
Mm.
Literally, that's your journey that you just explained there, and basically your legacy over the years that's going to come still as well. And I was listening to the way you were explaining, and it reminded me of, I think, everyone in the journey, not literally walking, but
Mm.
the journey in life of how you begin and how you grow as well, and how you become tired. But as you said, you become autopilot, and you just started getting into it. The same with us when you go through the storm, and then eventually you start going into a certain journey that you're in. Now, I really love that explanation, and you can relate to it as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, I had another question, but I'm going to park that one for now and move on to the questions that we had structured. How many walkathons?
But I was curious.
Hey?
Okay, so I'll ask you that one. Okay, so how do you recover after you've reached your destination and you've reached your goal? How do you recover your body then now to get out of that momentum of, walking every day? How do you recover? What do you do?
Okay, that's a great question as well. I like it because most people think after the walk, then you can just rest because you've been walking for a long time. So funny enough, I think for the next 3 months, I still had to do small activities. So it's like you can't just switch it on and off because my body now was still used to moving forward. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm eating. So I still had to take small walks, like your 5 kilometers. Went to the gym a bit. Try to do things that will still remind my body that hey, dude, you didn't just. It's not a pause. There's no pause. You don't just pause. The same way I didn't just start walking. I had to first wire my mind why am I diet, why am I whole physical being, where that is concerned. So I can easily say that it's a transition as well. You transition down, and I would have loved to just sleep for the next month, but I couldn't. My body was aching to keep walking. Hence, I said earlier on, if it was possible, I would have walked back because my body was still excited. I actually went to the Cape Town hospital so that they check me if I'm right and all that. I also had I think a picture, in regard to that, where they check me. And it's like I'm as good as a bull. Like I have more energy than more patients that they have. So I wasn't sick. I was more revived. I had hit a beast mode sort of element that I just needed to follow through with. And then going back where Tanya as well was mentioning that this whole situation is a journey and a process. At the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. Let me be honest. And I'm not saying I now know what I'm doing, but now I have a better understanding. The first one, we were focusing on abandoned babies, newborn babies. The second one, we were focusing on your primary kids. Third one, high school. Now, with the coming one, we're now focusing on transitioning into varsity, transitioning into the work career life sort of situation. So now, when you look back, it's like this has actually been a journey. Had I known what the whole outfold of that would have been, I actually should have kept contact with some of the kids that who we have helped previously. Because chances are some of them are on this level that we're on now. Because it's been almost 12 years now that I've been doing this. So it's a journey in that regard. And then in the sense of life as well, I'm not the same person I was when I did my first one. I'm not the same person I was when I did my second one. I'm not the same person I was when I did my fourth one. And then there's a fourth one that last year we did, just in Limpopo. It constantly I'm evolving. Earlier on, I said that actually I should write a book, and I'm like, no, wait, I actually did that, but I never was able to release it because I feel like I'm constantly a different person. It's a journey itself. It's a part of life. What I'm doing earlier on as well, I also mentioned that it's more of it's something that you need to experience so that when you do, it's not like you're trying to give. It's not even charity for me. It's a part of who I am. If I'm not doing this, what is it that I'm contributing to civilization? Because for me, this is one of the it's a calling. Let me call it that because that's what it is. I'm trying to help 1,000 people and so forth. It's not because I feel I'm better, I have money more than anyone. No, but it's because there's a seed that I feel God has planted in me, and that needs to flourish, to bloom out of the ground. And the process of that seed being planted, it started back with the first one, Johannesburg to Bloemfontein. That's how we started. And then the rest of the time I was just watering. Hence, I'm like, experience taught me not to do it this way. And let me tell you, first one, I would consider it a fail. Second one, I would consider even a bigger fail. Fourth one, I would still consider it a fail, even though in people's eyes it looks like it's amazing. But based on where I would love to go or take this, it's more of the failure is part of the process. It's not people usually take failing as okay, it's done. No, we need that to understand. I'm not even interested in success anymore because the journey is what I'm on. Do you get me? Rather, I be successful when I get to heaven. God says, "Well done, my son." Then I can say it is done. I'm successful. But for now, I'm on a journey, and that's what I'm experiencing. But anyway, let me not talk too much.
Okay, I really like what you said, that failure is part of the journey, and that's why we forget about that in life, because we just focus on success, that we don't enjoy the journey that we're on now. So, Luanda, you can ask the next question.
Okay, so you did touch on this, but I just want you to package it nicely. How many walkathons have you been involved in up to this far? And what was the course for each of them?
All right, thank you. All right, I've been in 4 so far. The first one, which is Johannesburg to Bloemfontein, which I did for Children's Mission, where we were trying to basically support these homes in terms of diapers, food, and people who can go and support in terms of sometimes you just need to give time to actually help in a community. So we were advocating for that, and the people who are throwing away kids were advocating that please, instead of throwing, here's a place where you can take your child, and then the child will be taken care of for the rest of their life via people who are actually helping. The second one, the focus was on school shoes, but as I was in it, it evolved more into revamping a classroom in Orange Farm into a science sort of lab situation. Also encouraging and also trying to give out books that influence kids. This was in a church film to basically read and be more into science. So it was more of a science structure with the second one, but it was focused on primary kids. And then the third one, which was Guyani to Bloemfontein, That one, the vision was a bit bigger because I was focusing on 9 schools, giving out of school shoes, sanitary towels, revamping of toilets, building a school library, um, school uniform as well, and then also school books. So it was more trying to cover almost everyone where sanitary is concerned, hygiene basically, but at the same time, literature as well. So through that, we're able to partner up with your TEF University from Limpopo as well. And I decided, let me try to build in my old primary school, which was in Guyani. We did the structure, but currently it's standing. It's not a library currently, though. And we didn't finish all the way because this needs support to actually be achieved. But we're able to give out school shoes, uniforms, sanitary towels, to mention the list. And then the fourth one, which was now last year, this one was supposed to be one lab around SA. But with that said, the whole vision around that was basically trying to get to open a college. There's a structure in Limpopo that we're trying to basically say, guys, instead of rushing to your big city and what, there's costs that are involved. There's rent and there's a lot of stuff that is happening that so some people are not able to actually do, and they wanna learn, they wanna take their studies further, but finances don't allow. So as a launch to that one, which we ended up not launching anymore, I only did Limpopo. I didn't go over to Mpumalanga. So the whole point that we were trying to get as many people from villages to actually come and be at that school so they have better opportunities as well. And not only just saying focusing on just writing, there was your agriculture element that we were focusing on. So that was last year. That didn't finish. And then we paused because we faced a lot of challenges and like we're gonna redo that. But now we're gonna bring it back to the city. Hence you see the VISTEC Varsity Institute of Science and Technology. So now I'm gonna jump on another one, which is gonna be one lab around SA, which I'm hoping to do in 113 days. Yes, in 113 days, which I'm going to work in from between December and Jan and then finish by March. There, we would basically like to get 500 students from 100 schools into school for next year. I mean, those who are in matric right now. So we're trying to identify them. But with our identification, we're basically saying we want to get people who are around because we can only advocate for companies to be involved with them because at the same time, we want to focus on student development. A lot of people have degrees, but there's nothing they're doing with their degrees. They don't have experiences and so forth. So now instead of saying get a certificate, a diploma, a degree, how about we try to collaborate with different companies, whatever field that you are in? Because in our college, which is Varsity Institute of Science and Technology, we offer everything that is offered in a university. It's the same thing. It's a registered institute of science and technology. So that it's a private training. So we're trying to basically say, if you are a media person, how can we get you to partner up with, let's say, a broadcasting company, for instance, and then you don't just study only, but you also get the opportunity to actually go on weekends, get vacation work, and all those sort. So that's the one that is coming. But prior to that, I'm going to do a warm-up walk where I'd like to invite people, where I'm going to do one lap around Soweto. So that's more get the experience in the field of what happened when I'm on the road. I think I tried to summarize that as quickly as possible.
Yes.
No, that's good. I was just about to say that what you're doing with this walk is basically bridging the gap for people to have work as well with what they have studied, especially those that don't know what their qualifications is about. So at the same time, they have experience, and that's what I like about this initiative. And okay, I'm just going to move on to the last question because we got carried away. So where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And do you believe that your stance and initiative will leave a major impression for future generations?
All right. Where do I see myself in 5 years' time? Ideally, I would like to be out of SA, but trying to do bigger things. Again, next, the vision for the 5 year vision is already starting as soon as I finish the one lap around SA. There's the San Francisco to New York walk that I've been cooking for years, for 7 years now. So, but that whole walk is basically trying to say, how can we take what you see behind me, Varsity Institute of Science and Technology, and turn that into a university? Already, the college itself has been making preparations in terms of land and all that. So now, going forward, we're basically hoping that we can be admitting 5,000 plus students instead of just 2,000. So the vision with this whole situation is basically trying to say, how can we build a university? And this is part of the channel we want to basically take. So where the journey is concerned, where the legacy is concerned, whether I'm gone, whether it's 20 years from now, I'd like if they look back and say, how did this thing start? Because it's not government based. And then you look back, you see, it was just a simple boy from Guyana trying to change the world. And it started with a small seed, and that's what it bloomed into. That's how these collaborations have come, partnerships and so forth, they came about. So that is more of the vision where this is concerned with the journey. I hope I answered that as quickly as possible.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
Really. Thank you so much, Nkosinathi, for joining us on this episode. Guys, Nkosinathi is on Instagram is the Journey Legacy, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
And then do you have a
Yes, you
Facebook
are.
as well?
Yeah, we have the Facebook page for the walk itself. It's the Journey Legacy Walkathon,
Okay.
one lap around SA. And
Okay.
then you'll find more details there with that update. Yeah.
Okay, great, guys. That's how you get in touch with Nkosinathi. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please like, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.